Hi folks, Lee here and welcome back to the channel. So I've got a Waverley adventure for this one. It's actually the first time I've gotten on the Waverley this year, so that was good. I'm hoping to go on maybe once or twice more. But it was a really unusual one for this one, so a first for me and a first for the Waverley in a long time in that it actually visited Ardrossan. So as you can see, that's it coming in now onto Winton Pier. So yeah, I believe it's the first time it's visited Ardrossan in about 10 years. Um, so this whole cruise was to mark the 50th anniversary of the Waverley being purchased by the Paddle Steamer Preservation Society for £1. Um, so that happened on, I guess, the 8th of August 1974. So yeah, so basically it marks the 50th anniversary of Waverley basically doing what it does today, which is be like a museum ship, like a living, breathing museum. So, um, yeah, really impressive. So, it's held on for 50 years, and hopefully we're going to get many more years out of it. But yeah, so for this one, that's us leaving Ardrossan here, as you can see. Um, and I have to admit, I was really impressed with just how much of a crowd it gathered. A lot of people on the ship, like the ship was pretty much full. If not full, then definitely close to it. And there was a lot of people coming on from Ardrossan, so it kind of says to me that if you bring the Waverley to people, then people respond and they come on it. Even probably a lot of new people. I knew several new people that had never been in the Waverley before, and they came on board to see it. They came on at Ardrossan, because I guess maybe they live in that area. So yeah, that was really cool. So it's good to see that it's attracting like a new audience. It's great for the boat, it's great for the PSPS, and yeah, it's great for keeping the keeping the Waverley sailing. Yeah, so as you can see, that's us out of Ardrossan now, and so basically the cruise took us from Ardrossan over to Brodick and Arran, and then we went down the south coast of Arran, to towards Whiting Bay, and then Holy Isle, and then Pladda, which you can't go round because it's quite shallow water, but you go past it, and then we turned back and then headed into Lamlash Bay for a little bit, as you'll see, and then finally back to Brodick and then back to Ardrossan. So, unfortunately for the people for whom it was their first sailing, the weather took a bit of a turn for the worst. It was really rainy later on, and as you can see, even at the start of the cruise, there was some indication that the weather wasn't going to be the best. A lot of grey, a lot of sort of fog in the distance, which quite quickly became not so much in the distance. We did get quite close to it, as you'll see later on. And there's a shot of the Waverley's engines, which I always like to try and get that in the video, because it just mesmerises people, you know. So there was a lot of people below decks looking at that, you know, really impressed with it. So that was pretty cool. It was just really cool to see a lot of new people come on. And there's the Isle of Arran there. And as you'll also see in a minute, there's a couple of fish farm maintenance boats as well. We got pretty close to those, and you'll see the Alfred coming from Troon as well. But yeah, as you can see, very low cloud base there, and the fog's really kind of closing in. So yeah, not the best day weather-wise, unfortunately. But yeah, it was just good to get a cruise in the Waverley again for the first time this year. So that's us on our way to Brodick now, as you can see. So and there's the fish farm boats there. So I'll shut up for a wee while, and you can see the ship make its approach to Brodick. And with that, we left Brodick. Quite a few people got off, quite a few more people got on. Unfortunately for the people that got off, they didn't really know what was in for them because the weather was really about to take a turn for the worst. So, in hindsight, they would probably have preferred to stay in the boat. But yeah, so there's the Alfred there coming from Troon, which again, that's a relatively new thing as well, because it's only this year we've had a scheduled service from Troon to Arran, so that's a new thing. And then we got really close to the two fish farm boats, which they're pretty cool looking. They're pretty interesting vessels. And then after that, it was time to head south to go see Holy Isle and Pladda. As you can see, the weather's really began to close in on this one, so a lot of fog, very poor visibility, and then it eventually just sort of degenerated into a lot of rain. But hey, you can't complain too much. It's typical Scottish weather, so you know what can you do. And I have to say, it's still. I still find it interesting to be out in conditions like this. Like, there's a certain, like, I don't want to say that I really enjoyed it, but I can definitely kind of appreciate it a little bit. It wouldn't be fun if it was sunny all the time, really, to be honest. And it's got a kind of atmosphere of its own when you're out in conditions like this, I find. So even though it wasn't really sunny and it was kind of cold and wet, like, it was still quite enjoyable. So yeah, there's Holy Isle there, and then you'll see Pladda come up in a minute as well. So yeah, he got us in pretty close to Pladda actually, so that was one thing that was pretty cool. Since the visibility was quite poor, they decided to get us as close in as they could. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty fun. But yeah. And then finally, before I returned to Brodick, and then Ardrossan, we took a wee tour into Lamlash Bay to have a wee look around. And I didn't really get any footage of or coming back into Brodick, because quite honestly, like, that was probably the worst part of the weather. And I didn't really have too much interest in standing around too much with my phone, so yeah, I didn't really get any of that, although it did start to clear up a little bit just as we were returning to Ardrossan, so I managed to get that. So overall, a really unique wee cruise. Not the best of weather, but still really enjoyed it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Were you on that day? Was it the first time you were on the Waverley? Did you enjoy it? Just anything really. And if you'd like to see more of this kind of content, then please do subscribe. Bye, folks.